Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni enjoys an early election lead. An app makes the loan process more accessible in Kenya. And refugees in Kenya battle to compete in the Rio Olympics. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. Ugandan police fired shots in the air and used tear gas to break up several opposition demonstrations in southern Kampala on Friday. A Reuters photojournalist reported saying police arrested several people. Military police were called in to help regular police to disperse the crowds. VOA's Maria Diallo recaps Thursday's election day activities.
Vote counting at some polling stations in Kampala got underway late Thursday after millions of Ugandans cast their ballots. As President Yoweri Museveni voted, he told the public there would be no violence.
If anybody tries to do violence, we shall just get him, put him in the deep freezer, and he cools down until the blood pressure comes down. We are ready. The whole army is mobilized, the whole police force. Who will bring violence?
Ugandan opposition leader Kizza Besigye, the main challenger to Museveni's three-decade rule, cast his vote as well and said the country has never enjoyed free and fair elections. And this one, he said, is no exception.
All the officials managing this election are officials that are appointed and managed by one of the candidates. And the security and the military institutions and other state organs, the administrators of our country.
Besigye, who has challenged Museveni in 3 previous elections, was arrested briefly after trying to enter a house he said was being used for a vote-rigging operation. Police later released him. Voting did not proceed smoothly in all areas. Some voters in Kampala ripped up their ballots, angry they had received only parliamentary ballots and not those for the presidential contest. Some polling stations saw delays of several hours after the official 7 a.m. opening time, leading to voter concerns.
Right now, I kept my time to come and vote, but I don't see any voting material, no any voting assistance. Nothing is here yet, apart from the observers.
Uganda's Electoral Commission extended voting hours in areas where polls were delayed. As the country awaits election results, voters expressed hope their preferred candidate would win.
I voted for President Museveni because we have the peace that we're enjoying because of him.
When you look at our neighbors, right? Kenya, a president has two presidential term limits. Look at Tanzania. They've just had an election, and the former president handed over power peacefully. Can we have more of this on the African continent?
Museveni faces 6 other challengers beside Besigye, including his former Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi, who was until recently a close ally. It's unclear when final results will be announced. Maria Diallo, VOA News.
Well, provisional results from Uganda's presidential and parliamentary elections show incumbent President Yoweri Museveni in the lead. Voting continued a second day Friday to make up for problems at some of the voting stations. Early results show President Museveni holding more than 60% of the votes counted. Presidential candidate Kizza Besigye has been arrested for a second time in as many days following his claim the voting is rigged. Election results are expected as soon as Saturday. Well, for more on the Ugandan elections, Jill Craig, Voice of America's VOA's East Africa correspondent, joins us from Kampala. Jill, tell us first, up to this moment, what is the percentage of provisional results that have been released?
Sure. Vincent, the Electoral Commission just released the fifth, allotment of provisional votes just a few moments ago. And as of now, President Museveni holds about 63% of that vote. Mr. Besigye holds approximately 33%. And Mr. Mbabazi has about 2%. The other candidates are, negligible numbers. So that's what we have so far. And about 47.5% of all polling stations have been accounted for.
Now, we saw some skirmishes earlier on the streets of Kampala. Would you describe this situation as widespread, or these are just isolated cases of violence?
Well, Vincent, Dr. Besigye actually has been detained by police 3 times since Monday. So on Monday, he was detained as he was going to one of his rallies. The police claim that he was in the Central Business District, which they say is an off-limits area for rallies. Yesterday, he was detained by police after he accused them of having a rigging center at one of the National Resistance Movement houses, and that's the party of President Museveni. And then today, he was holding a press conference, or attempting to hold a press conference at his headquarters, the Forum for Democratic Change headquarters, and the police came in and started tear gassing supporters then. So in each of these cases, Mr. Besigye has been detained, tear gassed. His supporters rally around him. The police drive him to his house in Kasangati, and then they release him. So
now,
there's been a bit of a
very quickly, do you get the sense that there's tension in the country that could lead to chaos if the elections go the wrong way?
In Kampala, for sure, there's tension, and that's among Mr. Besigye's supporters. And we've seen this several times now in the last few days, which could be worrisome for when the results are announced, depending on how they are announced. On the other hand, President Museveni's supporters seem to be very assured that their candidate will win. So most of the, frustration is coming from Dr. Besigye's supporters.
Well, we'll keep watching that. Jill, thank you very much for your excellent reporting. VOA's East Africa correspondent Jill Craig reporting live from Kampala via Skype. Now, the international aid group Doctors Without Borders says at least 18 people were killed in an armed conflict at a United Nations protection of civilian site this week, including 2 South Sudanese staff members attacked in their own homes. Now, the report regarding the site in Malakal increases the previously reported deaths toll of 7, which was reported Thursday. MSF says the 2 staff members killed were workers at one of its hospitals inside the compound. MSF spokesman Marcus Bachmann reported that medical teams worked throughout the night to treat some 73 people wounded in the attack, most with gunshot wounds. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has condemned that violence. Well, U.S. military officials say American warplanes have carried out airstrikes on an Islamic State training camp in western Libya near the country's border with Tunisia. Local officials say at least 40 people were killed. A U.S. military officer says among those targeted was a senior Tunisian operative, Noureddin Shoushan, believed to be connected to the attacks last year on a Tunis museum and the Sousse Beach resort, which killed dozens of tourists. Well, I want to know what you think about issues that affect your daily life. Each week, we'll ask you a question and profile some of your answers. This week, we asked, why does corruption persist in your country? And we got a lot of answers. Well, Weka Fred from Entebbe, Uganda, believes that corruption has gone viral due to tribalism and favoritism. Martin Nyalusi from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, believes that low wages can lead to corruption, especially in the police department, and wonders how can they fight corruption or refuse taking a bribe. Spencer Peter Liombia, also from Entebbe in Uganda, believes that corruption persists due to the presence of lifetime presidential leadership. While Ankiti Chepkoskei from Kenya believes that there is a generational curse in Kenya left behind by the founding father of the nation. And she concludes by saying they think to steal from the people is among functions of a country's president. Well, thank you very much for your responses, and please keep them coming. Our next question is, should African voters focus on replacing leaders or first create institutions that will help ensure that future leaders will be held accountable and not abuse their power? Go to Facebook, and the address is Africa54, and tell me what you think, or send me a tweet at VOA Vince Makori. Well, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, Kenya's mobile generation access loans through phones. Stay with us.
demonstration outside the debate hall.
Political season is about to change, too.
VOA News, Las Vegas.
Well, this week we've highlighted technology from the Star Tides Expo held here in Washington. Today, our final report features a new medical technology that can help aid workers virtually transport hospital-level capability to the field. VOA's Caroline Turner has more.
In 2010, the massive earthquake in Haiti caused so much trauma and injury that temporary field clinics were set up by Doctors Without Borders. In the near future, rapid response technicians will be able to communicate directly with specialized doctors in a hospital and be able to perform specialized testing and make a diagnosis from the field. New technology was on display at the Star Tides Expo. A virtual clinic that can be carried in a suitcase was shown by Med Webb.
What we wanted to do is we wanted to make something that was small enough that anybody could take it and get on a plane and essentially set up a clinic in a rural area that would run on batteries. And so in that clinic kit, we have a variety of different devices like ultrasound. This is a portable ultrasound that just plugs into the USB port of a laptop computer. This one is a portable multi-scope that in this case has a lens for looking in your ear, but also your eye, skin, and things like that. This is a digital stethoscope. The digital stethoscope connects also to your smartphone or to the laptop computer so the person at the other end can hear the same sounds that the clinician in the field can hear. And then one of the most interesting things that we have is this device. These are live telepresence glasses. So what we're able to do with our kit is we're able to put these things on, and then the clinician in the field can actually talk to a specialist anywhere else in the world and be guided through a procedure. For example, if somebody has an urgent fracture or other type of medical condition, and the EMT or the nurse or the person out in the field can actually do a medical consult in real time and hear the doctor on the other side. More importantly, the doctor on the other side can see everything I see.
With these glasses, the doctor can see everything remotely, and through these little screens, the technician can see what the doctor shows.
So the way this technology works is that the glasses speak what is commonly known as WebRTC, or real-time communication. So we can make this work with any web browser on any computer or smartphone anywhere in the world.
The Vital Patch is an important addition to the kit.
It does EKG, pulse, respiration, and temperature, as well as activity and position, body position. And it runs for 4 to 7 days on a battery charge. And that allows, and it's a diagnostic device. So we're able to take advantage of this as a way to track the condition of people in real time, and then do automated analysis of that data to decide when, for example, somebody might be dehydrated or suffering some sort of an event. So here we have, you can see the EKG running on the cell phone that's communicating with a patch similar to this that my colleague Scott has on his chest. So you see it just mounts right to the chest, it's battery operated, and as I said, it runs for 4 to 7 days, and fabulous new additions for telemedicine and tracking. This type of device is what we call Internet of Things. It's an explosion of data that's being now delivered. So we have software algorithms that analyze the data coming out of the patch and decide when it's time to notify the doctor or the nurse that there's been some abrupt change that needs their attention.
Anyone can connect with the Star Tides Research Organization through their website at www.startides.net. Carolyn Turner, VOA News.
Well, interest rates on business loans in Kenya can go as high as 26%. But an American technopreneur has now developed an app through which Kenyans can get loans at reduced rates via their mobile phones and Facebook. Lenny Ruvaga reports from Nairobi.
Samuel Kinuthia, a chef in Nairobi, begins his workday by preparing ingredients for the day's special. He has been a chef for the last 18 years and started his own catering business last year to supplement his regular income. Kinuthia got a loan to start his business through Branch, a micro-lender that provides financial services including loans to Kenya residents. He says Branch has been a boon for his business.
Catering is quite expensive, and I've been trying to acquire a few items here and there, but Branch has been with me all along the way. And it's also less of a hassle because at 8 to 9% interest on a 42-day loan is quite easy to maintain and quite friendly. And then the repayment plan, you can pay in small amounts even before the scheduled payment dates.
Introduced in 2015 by Matt Flannery, Branch is a microfinance institution that has been billed as a bank in your pocket. The app can be accessed on Google Play Store and on Facebook. For a 6-month repayment period, clients can apply for loans from as little as $10 to a maximum of $500, and the interest rates are as low as 5% in a country where banks charge as much as 26%. There are 3 other major companies targeting the microloan market: M-Shwari, M-Co-op Cash, and KCB M-Pesa, all of them linked to large commercial banks.
We don't necessarily see ourselves as directly competing with them. We don't think this is a winner-takes-all market. We're very excited to be working alongside them, and I think we're all working towards the same kind of goal here.
And for Samuel Kinuthia, that goal is using advancements in technology to make it easier to expand his business. Lenny Ruvaga for VOA News, Nairobi, Kenya.
Well, it's time now for a short break. Still to come on Africa 54. Refugees in Kenya dream of Olympic gold. We'll be right back.
If you've just joined us, I'm Mariama Diallo, and here is a quick recap of today's headlines. In Uganda, opposition leader Kizza Besigye, arrested as provisional results of the presidential elections gave President Museveni an early lead amidst charges of vote rigging. In South Sudan, fighting at a UN compound sheltering people fleeing conflict kills at least 7 and injures 40. In Egypt, hundreds of protesters gather in front of the Cairo Security Directorate to protest the police brutality after a policeman shot and killed a man in the street. Finally, in Mali, French Prime Minister Manuel Valls arrives following deadly Islamist militant attacks. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here's what's trending. The travel industry is one step closer to fulfilling the adventure trip of a lifetime. Virgin Galactic unveiled a new version of its Spaceship Two space tourism rocket on Friday as it prepares to return to flight testing for the first time since a 2014 accident destroyed the original and killed one of its pilots. Line founder Sir Richard Branson says that the accident did put a damper on the plans at that time. Spaceship Two is designed to be flown by a crew of 2 and carry up to 6 passengers on a high-speed suborbital flight to the fringes of space. More than 700 people have reportedly bought tickets, which go for $250,000 each. Well, next up, a new tool to aid wildlife conservation. As the sun rises over the mountains, conservationists, scientists and enthusiasts are busy taking photographs of gravy zebras. This is where some of Kenya's poorest people live, where the Samburu tribe of Kenya graze their cattle, sharing and competing with wildlife for grazing ground and resources. For the past 3 decades, the number of gravy zebras have been decreasing rapidly. To determine the population of gravy zebras in the whole of Kenya, census will use a new software that was designed at Princeton University in the United States. According to the trust, this is the first time that citizen science is being used to count a zebra species. Well, and finally, a new promotional video featuring a bird's eye view of the Olympic Park for the 2016 Rio Games has gone viral. 16 sports will take place here, with the Olympics due to start in 170 days. Construction of the park was 97% complete at the end of January. Following the Olympics and Paralympic Games, Rio's Olympic Park will become a spacious sports and educational complex that will serve the local community. And that is what is trending today. Well, it's time for a Friday Sports Report, so we turn to Sunny Young with the sunny side of sports. Hello, Sunny.
Hello, Vincent, and sporty greetings once again to our Africa 54 viewers. This is a big Olympic year. In Kenya, refugees from other African countries are training at a special camp and competing for a limited number of slots in this year's Rio Games under the flag of the International Olympic Committee. As Lenny Ruvaga reports from Ngong, this is a first in Olympic history.
20 kilometers from Kenya's capital, Nairobi, sits Ngong, where today a select group of athletes is training for a chance to run in the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, this August. The athletes, who number around 30, are all refugees from various war-torn countries in Africa. They're training at the Tegla Lorupe Training Center for Refugee Athletes. 20-year-old Rose Navike from South Sudan is one such athlete. She runs the 800 and 1,500 meters. For the last 16 years, Navike has been living at the Kakuma refugee camp in northwestern Kenya, along with her siblings. The huge camp hosts about 200,000 refugees from Eritrea, Congo, South Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, Uganda, and Rwanda. Nafika says life in the camp is hard.
Before we came here, we had been facing a lot of challenges due to the hot weather in Kakuma, and the place is too dry that we cannot able to stay, but we adapt the situation where you are.
Now she and the other athletes in Ngong train twice a day, beginning each session with 45 minutes of warm-up exercises before starting their workouts. Dawood Abubakar fled Somalia in 1998. He's been training at the camp for the last 5 months and hopes to run in the Olympics 5,000 and 10,000 meter races. He says the chance to compete under the Olympic flag and the training camp itself have improved his prospects.
You know, when we were in the camps, you don't get time. But now most of us, we are improving time. We have got good time. We have got good coaches. You know, the way that you train, when you are in the camps, you can't train the way that you want. You are alone, just you go and you come back. But here we get coaches.
With the help of national Olympic committees, the International Olympic Committee is identifying a select few refugee athletes for the Games. Kipchoge Keino, a two-time Olympic gold medalist himself, chairs the Kenyan Olympic Committee. He told VOA there will be high standards for qualification.
The training is going to be very hard. You might find some training with our athletes in some of our training camps. And this is the most important. We want to encourage them, those talented, to be able to perform well.
In a few months, some of these athletes may make history by running in Rio under the flag of the IOC. Lenny Ruvaga for VOA News, Ngong, Kenya.
Thanks, Lenny. In African football, one of the big stories this week was Morocco naming Hervé Renard as its head coach. I think the flamboyant Frenchman is looking forward to enjoying those Moroccan beaches. He led Ivory Coast to the Africa Cup of Nations title last year, and he celebrated that achievement by peeling off his shirt and then dancing with his players. And in 2012, the 47-year-old Renard led Zambia to that same Africa Cup of Nations trophy. I'm VOA's Sonny Young, and that's the sunny side of sports. Vincent?
Well, thanks a lot, Sonny, and be sure to watch the sunny side of sports every Monday and Friday right here on Africa 54. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. We leave you now with the music of Greg Lee Bukinambila, a young upcoming artist from Burkina Faso. Good night from Washington.
Bambon contiole, bambandere, of Sarala Sansa, the Fayou de Sa, when Kete, Tika Solobonso, La Santa Winraba, Ponteka, Yari Yavala Cindy, Marcos Banya, Nirsuya Font of Mazoninga, Tiki the Ganbane. Salfane dare of Peruda wa padebe Salfane dare when a man getting tore Salfane dare of Peruda wa padebe Salfane dare when a man la mort emporte le corps et l'âme, mais jamais le souvenir qu'on garde de l'homme. Jamais il restera gravé dans nos mémoires, telle la marque de fer sur l'agneau. Sur l'agneau, sur l'agneau.
Welcome to the Voice of America's News Words.
Does this word mean something good has happened?
Unleashed. The president is sending Secretary of State John Kerry to the Middle East to help build a coalition to defeat the militants who have unleashed a wave of violence that has included attacks on Iraq's Christians and other minority communities, and recently the videotaped killing of American journalist James Foley.
Unleashed means to let something very powerful happen quickly.
It is like taking a leash off a dog and letting it attack someone. In our story, the militants unleashed or set off a wave of violence.
Usually, unleashed does not mean something good.
So, the next time you hear the word unleashed, you will know what this news word means.